Hey, America, welcome to Red, White, and Blue, a political discussion with the Walkers. We have former Senator Charles W. Walker and Champ Walker, his eldest son. I believe he's the only son, but both of them have been established in the political community there in the great state of Georgia. Senator Walker has been Senate Majority Leader for a senator and a state elected representative for a number of years previously, and an extraordinary successful entrepreneur in the great state of Charlotte. Some would argue, the great state of Georgia, some would argue one time was the most powerful politician in the state of Georgia. And then we have his son, his namesake, Charles Champ Walker. He also has been in the political forum as an advisor, as a fundraiser, and also as a former congressional candidate as well. And today, Georgia is on the minds of America. And so we thought that we would have this discussion, red, white, and blue, about the state of affairs in Georgia and really going back a little bit to get a better understanding. But before we get started, I want to ask a question to this young man here, Charles Walker. Who is Charles W. Walker?
Charles W. Walker is a young man from Burke County, Georgia. Born and raised in Burke County, lived in Augusta, Georgia all my life. Uh, I am one who I pay attention to the environment in which I live, which includes political environment. And those of us who are fortunate enough to get in the political game understand that those who are in the room, they're in the deal. If you are not helping to prepare the agenda, you're probably on the agenda. So I've learned that, and if they ask me a question, who is Charles Walker? I would say
Yes.
he's just a country boy from Barrett County, Georgia, with great ambition and a great life.
All right, all right, all right. That's a country boy from Burke County. He's an humble man as well. And so, who's this guy right here sitting there next to you? Who is Champ Walker?
That's my eldest son.
Your eldest son?
He's the one with the bulldog tenacity. He will grab something and never turn it loose.
All right, all right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Champ, man, it's good to see you, man. Tell us about who are you, man? Your dad says you're the bulldog. Tell us about you.
Well, he's the trainer of that bulldog. And I wasn't born in Burke County.
Uh-huh. We kind of lost Champ there for a moment. So we're going to get while Champ is getting his internet connected here. We had a little pause with Champ. Oh, there you go. You're back. Champ, we lost you for a second, man. Come back and tell us who you are again, please.
City, Augusta, Georgia.
You're flowing. Champ, you're flowing. We lost Champ. But Senator Walker, let's get started. So in the last Democratic election, Senator Walker, the last Democratic election in 1992, the Democrats, this last time they won was in 1992. And during that 1992 election, Bill Clinton won 43.47% of the popular vote compared to George W. Bush, who won 42.88% of the vote. At that same time in 1996, Republican Bob Dole won 1996. Bob Dole won the state with 47% to Bill Clinton's 45%, almost a full percentage and a half. What happened during the 1996 election cycle to cause Georgia to turn from blue to a red state?
Well, Georgia was headed to be a red state, a hard red state. But because of the political connections and the common sense of our governor, we realized that we're going to be a part of the country, that we're going to be a prosperous state, that we had to put aside some of our racial overtones, especially those that are obvious with the statutes and the name calling and the name of the various high schools and schools in the state of Georgia. And so people started looking at Georgia differently because Birmingham, Alabama was supposed to be the Hartsfield International Airport. All of the things in Atlanta, Georgia was scheduled to be in Birmingham. But Birmingham, Georgia, why did they say segregation now, segregation forever? And
Yes.
that turned them off and people start coming to Georgia. And that's how we got to be a prosperous state. And all of from 1964 up until 1992, Georgia was a Democratic state. Every office they had was Democrats. And then we lost that in 2004, 2002.
Yeah, so you lost it in 2002. What was the reason in 2002? Because you were doing pretty well, if I
We
recall
were,
correctly. You had the state legislature for a number of years.
right.
It was racial overtones, but was something in particular. I know, for instance, Sonny Perdue. When I worked in the state legislature for you, Sonny Perdue was a Democrat, if I remember correctly.
It
Correct?
was. I ran him out the Democratic Party. He was a Democrat in name only. And
Ah,
he was all upset about the way we ran the Democratic Party. I was the Senate Majority Leader, so it was my call. And of course, I was going to try to call it the best I could. But
yes.
let me just say something about the thing that changed Georgia from blue to red was the flag. The flag issue in Georgia. We took the flag down, and white people showed their butts. They got
Mm.
mad, all of the left the Democratic Party. There was some Democrats. We had members of the Georgia General Assembly, the Senate and the House, who switched parties immediately after the election. They got elected and they switched parties. But it was the flag. I told Roy Barnes
Ah,
that the worst thing we can do is change the flag in this first term. We need to wait until we get to the second term. Black politicians and some whites don't understand long-term strategy. You
mm.
can do something to get some quick gratification. Oh, we changed the flag. So what if you change the flag? What happened as a result if you change the flag? Absolutely nothing. Did, did you lose me?
No, you're back. You're back. We lost you for a second. You back.
We changed that flag and nothing. We received no benefits for changing the flag in the state of Georgia. We changed the flag. They voted all the Democrats out of office, and they took on the power. You cannot exercise power sitting on the sidelines. You got to be in the game at the table, and you got to be raising hell in order to get anything done. And everybody's running around. Oh man, we changed the flag in Georgia. So what?
End of the day, one lesson I learned from you was politics is about the dissemination of the wealth, and that's clear and simple, plain. And I've taken that for the last several decades is my mantra when it comes to politics. If you're not really disseminating where the wealth is going, you're really not involved in the political apparatus at
No,
all.
you
And if I
are.
remember correctly, there was a conversation that you and then Senator Perdue had, and it was in regards to your leadership and that sticks to my mind too. I don't know if you want to talk about that because
All right.
that between two gentlemen. If I remember correctly, he said something about he would never serve under this type of person. If I remember correctly,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yes,
So we had a lot of arguments. Sonny Perdue was used to dealing with black people who would submit to his will. And he could not understand how I was fortunate enough to become the majority leader and wanted to be independent. Well, my father taught me a long time ago, and I try to teach my children, you can't be politically successful unless you own yourself.
mm,
By that I mean this. There's no need of people walking around talking about they're a politician if they're broke. A broke man cannot be a good politician because he has too many personal needs that they need to attend to.
yes,
So what you got to do is find a way to own yourself. Then you can participate in politics full sail. But if you're begging in one hand and begging somebody to give you something, you'll never have power. Period. I do
period.
not. I do not believe that I need to go to the governor and ask them to do something when I was a Senate Majority Leader. I thought that I was a Senate Majority Leader, I could just do it automatically. And guess what I found out? I could. Nobody ever challenged me. I could put as much money in the budget as I wanted to for my constituents in my community. Nobody really challenged me. And guess what? I didn't know I could do it either.
Right, right. One thing I appreciate about you and your leadership is you took care of your constituents and the like, and I think you should be applauded for that for a number of years. I remember that you had a list of folk who were in your community. This are people who had come to you for their needs, and you made certain that this fairness was shared across the board, and everybody had their fair shake of the pie, piece of the pie. And so I really appreciate it. Now, Champ, you in this time period, you ran for congressional office, and what year was that? And what was going on in Georgia that led you up to your congressional race, and then what transpired from that?
Well, the year I ran was 2002, and I was the Democratic nominee. And a couple of years prior to, uh, president of the Georgia Personnel Services, had operations all throughout the state of Georgia, and growing rapidly. And my father was Senate Majority Leader at the time. Uh, I was in fundraising mode, doing raising money for him, but also at the same time keeping my eye on the business as well. And I had told him a while back that I wanted to run for office. I really would like to run for Congress one day, and we got to talking about it, and seat came up, opening came up, and he called me and he said, "There's a seat that's coming up. I know you talked about it. What you want to do?" And I remember being in Washington D.C. with one of my business partners, walking right in front of the White House when I got the phone call, and I took that as a sign that that it was time to do it. And a couple of years prior to that, Osar, you remember, you were, I believe, if not the chairman of the 100 Emerging Leaders
Yes.
in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years prior to my running, I was up in D.C. with you presenting the Heritage Crest to some of the leaders, some of the most renowned young leaders today. Well, not today, we have Jamal Bryant over at the pastor of New Birth, who is a great leader at the NAACP in the youth leadership, Mel McMorris, Zena Pierre, and the like, Cedric Richmond, who's the advisor to President Biden right now. And from our meetings in D.C., it really inspired me to get engaged. So when I made the call, it was right on time. I had friends in D.C. Who were connected with the civil rights organizations, and it made an easy transition. And you was my right hand man at the time.
Man, it was Emerging Leadership Institute, and that was an amazing group of people that I don't think the America even knows. We're talking Ben Jealous and all the names you mentioned were right there in D.C. and our youth as young men and women. And now people are spread across the tenants around America and really still making a difference in the culture and the politics of America. But something recently happened in Georgia, fellas. Recently happened in Georgia. The governor decided, which is unusual, but to make certain people feel comfortable, he went out and had all the ballots counted, hand counted in Georgia, right? And it confirmed that President-elect Biden is the winner of Georgia after this hand count of ballots. Why do you think the Democrats won the presidential election since, they haven't won since 1992? It's been years, decades since they won Georgia. What happened now? And America wants to know what happened in Georgia.
Black people found out that they can vote and their vote counted. And they went out and they voted and they made a difference. You got to understand that when you get an opportunity to exercise political power, you need to do it. If you walk around with a handful of pocket full of power and you never use it, you may as well throw it away. It doesn't amount to anything. Blacks in Georgia, minorities in Georgia make up 38% of the overall population. That's on a 12% difference. All you got to do is get 15% of the white boy, you win. And that's what happened. It's nothing really miraculous or strange about that. It's a matter of doing it.
Let me get this right. You said that black people make up 38% of the popular vote in Georgia?
But the population is in the popular vote, yes.
Wow. And so what's okay? So they thought they could find out they could vote, but 2 years prior, we lost the governor's race. So what? So was it just simply the fact that black people found out that your vote counts in a 2 year span, or
no? They stole the election from the Stacey Abrams in Georgia. They cut out, disqualified 370,000 people, took them off the vote roll, and she lost the governor race by 50,000 votes. Well, she went out and started her organization called Fair Fight, got me and other people involved and supported her. People all over the country supported her. She raised the money, and she went out and registered 800,000 black people. They were already here in Georgia. They just simply wouldn't register to vote.
wow?
And then half of them who registered to vote didn't vote. So this time, 65% of the African American people voted in the state of Georgia, and Biden won the election by 12,000 votes. That's using power in a very positive way. Georgia,
That's good.
they have two state senators, two U.S. senators running for re-election. They're running for their lives right now. We must catch them, we must defeat them, and we must bring them back from Atlanta, Georgia. They sent a little guy named Lindsey Graham down here to try to turn things over, and the Republican Secretary of State ran him out of the state. So that's going to show you how Georgia has changed. We've never ran races out of the state before. We ran over Lindsey Graham. We ran it slap out of the state of Georgia.
Now Lindsey came. Do people know Lindsey Graham, Senator Graham, came to Georgia, and did he actually ask the governor to
Secretary of State.
right. So, but now, I don't know who wants to tackle this question. Maybe Trump, you try it first, and Senator Walker come next. Now, Trump is considering challenging the outcomes of the elections in Georgia, Michigan, Georgia, and other states. Do you think he has a chance to change the outcome of the overall election by going after these states?
Yeah, of course. There's no question about it. Trump can do anything. No, absolutely not.
Okay. I'd expect that answer from you.
It's a waste of time. Challenge after challenge, he's lost, and it's absurd. If you look at what the judges are saying, right now he's just being vengeful and wants to destroy Democrats, and he's just simply lost it. There's absolutely no way out. If you look at the margins, in Pennsylvania, he lost. I mean, Biden only needed to win Pennsylvania, and that was it. And so, no matter what happens, he can't come back. The numbers, he's gone. Just a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. Senator Walker, what's your take on that? What is his chances of overturning these states or any other states through the state legislatures?
He's not going to overturn anything. Trump ain't nothing for Trump. Trump is just we taking it. Biden has made his comment. He said that bulldogs don't bark at fight, and Trump is a fight. He don't do but bark loud, but he doesn't bite. It ain't nothing to him. He's a coward. He's a punk. He's a terrible dog. And if we don't watch him, he will take this country and turn it into a communist country, and he can join up with Putin and all those boys. He wants to be a big dog, but he ain't never been a little puppy.
He's nothing but a little puppy.
That's all.
Now, but as a little puppy, he's supposedly a wealthy person. Suppose he's a wealthy billionaire, but we know for certain he is still the sitting president of these United States of America. Yeah. So he's a powerful puppy, though, right? So, but that means nothing.
His power. He ain't got no money. He ain't got 2 quarters rolled together that's not mortgage.
Yeah.
He got it on pawn. He should open up a pawn shop. Because everything he got in that pawn. He didn't have no money. The reason he got to raise the sand and talk about he's not crazy. But the reason he's talking about that he won the election, he knows he didn't win no damn election. And so, but he's still talking that. But the reason he's doing it is to raise money.
Yes.
He got a lot of people out there, poor whites and a lot of upper middle class whites support it. They're sending $5, $10, $20. He got 70 million votes in the country. If each one of them send $1 a month, that's enough money to take care of his children for 6 weeks. Because they're big spenders,
Right. They are big spenders. Moving forward, now this is really important because this is it's historic. Biden holds on to winning Georgia. Georgia, if you look around on the map, the electoral map, you see red everywhere around in the South, and you see this little patch of blue, just a little patch of blue in Georgia. What's it going to take for Democrats to keep Georgia?
We got to keep Georgia. We got to be progressive. Georgia is a progressive state. It's located in the South. So you can't consider Georgia to be the same as Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Now, what I would recommend is that those states, the southern states, excluding Georgia, all the rest of the southern states, they formed a coalition. They just set up their own country. That'd be all right with me. I don't care.
I mean, now, now, I don't even know where to go with that one. But okay, so that's the nation. So should we go ahead and then have, because it's been tried before. We call it the Civil War.
That's right.
And so we tried it before. Do you think there's a reality? Because there's a lot of talk in the community that there was going to be some sort of civil unrest or civil war to take place. Do either of you imagine that it's possible to form this new South? What Senator Walker said. Is that a reality?
They're just as crazy today as they were back in 1864, 1862, when they started the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln inherited the war. These people are not going to be satisfied until they get knocked down or knocked out, because they simply will not accept it. On television today, I saw a lady say that she will never believe that Joe Biden beat Donald Trump unless Donald Trump tells her different. And these people are crazy. So they need to form their own country, get the guns, and let's have a little nice little civil war. Nothing big, just a little get together every once in a while. And I guarantee you, we end up with some real good white folks down in Mississippi, Tennessee, because the black man that they met during the Civil War does no longer exist. You got a handful of them up there in Atlanta, but they don't exist everywhere else. These people will fight back.
Interesting.
They want to have a civil war, let them have it.
Champ, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that in 2020 we're having this conversation about even the possibility of a civil war. But, my problem has not been with Donald Trump. It has been with, his followers. And he's simply giving them license to hate openly. But, to keep Georgia, yes, we're going to have progressive leadership for sure. If you look at the diversity in the state of Georgia, people of color are moving in every single day. So it's only going to increase. But Lyndon B. Johnson said once that if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. He said, hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you.
Yes.
And the Republicans have mastered the art of that. And when you look at the Trump rallies and the base of his support, they've gone beyond drinking the Kool-Aid. You're talking about Jim Jones is one thing. But Trump will be a disruption to the party for quite some time. And I hadn't had a chance to talk to my father about that yet, but one of the things he was looking at talking about today was the disruption that he would have down the road as an outsider, because right now the Republicans are still scared to move. And I think that's going to have an impact with the Georgia politicians as well. And, I don't know whether he's going to hurt these two candidates in this particular race here.
You don't think he's going to play in the two Senate races?
Yeah, I think he's right. The two Senate races that we have going in Georgia, Warnock and also, they can make a difference, not just in Georgia. The decision of the Georgia people will decide the future of the world, not just the United States.
Wow.
Did you see what Trump tried to do with Iran? Tried to provoke a fight?
Yes, he did. He did the old school, not even brilliant, try to start a war to try to maintain his leadership in times of war. And that's just so he could go ahead and say we shouldn't change from the White House right now because we're in the middle of a war. A good try, but that was basic. That's not even a first year politics. That is, when you talk about, that's high school politics right there. But it was his attempt to do so. My next question really is not that one. This is one right here. Now we talk about the Senate race. So Warnock, I knew Warnock. We studied together in Cambridge for just a short period for a program there. He seems to be a pretty good guy, but he's a pastor. And this is a historic race in the fact that not only a pastor is running for a U.S. Senate seat, but he's doing very well. And then, but there's so much at stake right now between, like you said, this determines for the world. 50-50 in the Senate is a big deal when the vice president is the one who makes the deciding vote, which appears to be a Democrat. But will the Democrats win both of them? And then what's it going to take for the Democrats to even hold on to those Senate seats? What is it going to take for them to hold on to these Senate seats or to win these Senate seats?
They're going to have to get the financial support from across the country. They're going to have to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, and they're going to have to attack. They cannot win this race being passive. They must attack.
And one of the things, go ahead, Bob. One of the things that we've seen, and I learned back in 2002, is that the Republicans spare nothing in terms of their political attack, their ads. When they're running, nothing is off limits. And they've stepped their game up quite a bit. And they're making Warnock look very dark as a Marxist. And so they're attacking pretty hard. And the Democrats, they tend to just run really polite commercials. And I don't know whether that's going to cut. And this ground game that this game that they've done in the air, dropping bombs rather than going door to door, certainly the school that I've come from, and taught that you have to do both. And of course, the Senate seat is a wide area. It's difficult to do, but we need to get as many people on the ground as possible and touch as many people as possible and step up our attack as well.
As you were talking, I was thinking about where are the votes? There's pockets of votes, right? Richmond County, Fulton County, DeKalb County. But where do the votes come from to assist the Senate to turn blue?
It's the new areas. For example, we always had Richmond County, Columbus, Georgia, Clark County, in Athens and Albany. But we got Clark County and Gwinnett County and DeKalb County. It used to be white. And now those counties are 65, 70% white. So the population has changed. In the inhabitants of the state of Georgia, it's a whole new ballgame. And you got some pretty progressive people in Georgia. All the football teams, basketball teams. You bring in diversity, and it makes a difference. And that's what they're up against. Those two guys are going to raise at least $100 million each, so we don't have to worry about the money. They're going to win. They're going to raise the money, and the woman, Kelly, she's already she's worth about $600 million, so she can finance her campaign. But the only thing about her is she's not too bright. I guess she's a nice lady, but she lie like a rug, and she's just not too bright, and so her money might not save her.
That's interesting. Well,
a black man running against her, you got to be careful how he deal with her.
Yes.
You can't handle these white women as your opponents. You can't handle them the same way you handle white men.
Yes, that's true. It's the whole black man in the elevator with a white man thing, but in a Senate race. That's still real to this day. It's still real to this day. Well, we're at our time, gentlemen, so I'm going to give you the last statement of today. So your closing thoughts as we get ready to go into Georgia. Champ, you go first if you don't mind, then Senator Walker closes out.
As stated, we have the numbers in the state. We just need to get the people out to vote. The New Georgia Project and several others are targeting those that are 18 years old, going to all the high schools, colleges, making sure that we register people to vote. So to the listening audience, this is an issue of getting people out. These people turning 18, we can add them to the rolls, but we got enough registered voters to get people out, and we must turn them out in larger numbers. So take 10 of your people who you know, harass them, text them a couple days before, the day of, and if everybody does their job and be accountable for 10 people, we can get people out.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Charles Walker. Before we go, Charles Walker Jr. or Champ Walker, any political run for you in the near future? People want to know.
Well, my dad taught me well, and the lessons he teaches are very. You have to really pay attention to them because it makes sense. I'm focusing on my business, and when, at that time where those dollar signs look like I want them, and because I don't do well with people telling me what to do, and I don't know where I get that from, but it's always open.
Yeah, I don't know where you got it from either.
I have no clue. I've been trying to figure that out all my life.
I remember, and I'm out of time, but I remember Senator Walker, and the move I use from Senator Walker, he has this move that he uses where he'll shake your hand and he'll pull you up close, like 6 inches apart, and he'll look down at you. And that was such a power move, man. That was I use that power move today. But Senator Walker, take us out. What's your thoughts, man, if we go into Georgia?
It's good to be on there with you and my son Charles Jr. My motto is very simple: don't allow others to downsize your dreams. If you can do that, you'll be all right.
All right. Don't let others down. Go ahead.
What you say, Champ? I would like to say, as we talked about this show, we talked about the importance of having leaders and political figures that have laid down a path for us that we can follow, taking those nuggets and those gems and put them into action. And my father wrote a book that he didn't talk about today, but the book has a lot of nuggets in it. And I know you've read it also, and has political nuggets, life lessons, and tips about business and handling your business. But from peanuts to power is the name of the book. I just want to make that plug.
Yes. And I have it here on my desk right here. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. This is Red, White, and Blue. This is our first political conversation as we go into the throes of Georgia. Come back and join us, family, wherever you are on social media, and also on Roku, Android, Apple, and Fire TV. We'll put it out there for you. We'll continue to have these dialogues as we go into this election cycle. January 5th, I don't know where you are here in Georgia or anywhere in America. You can't vote in America, but you can vote in Georgia. Turn out and go out and vote in Georgia. And well, this is I'm just so pleased to have you guys here. Thank you all. Let's thank the Walkers for joining us, and come back again, family, and join us real soon again. All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Peace.